We have moved to the AFC North. What was the one pick that you really liked the most from the Steelers draft?
Well, probably Najee Harris, because I predicted it 2 months before it happened. I mean, anyone who was at Pro Football Network from our Senior Bowl coverage knew that really from that day I was reporting that Najee Harris, it was going to be one of two teams, the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I reported as we got closer to the draft, the Dolphins were looking at defensive end pass rusher with that second pick. And I never wavered from the Steelers going with Najee Harris. And that's the guy they took. So one of the few times in my life, I actually looked like I was smart. But I mean, he's a terrific selection in a variety of reasons. He fits the Steelers' identity. He fits the scheme. He's a bigger guy who can pound it out on the inside. Much better pass catcher than given credit for. Has the ability to turn the corner. I mean, really a 3-down running back. As I said all along with Najee Harris, he was a mid-first round prospect who played a day 2 position. I'm absolutely ecstatic to see he went as early as he did, because he deserved to be the first running back taken off the board, and he deserved to be a guy who went in the middle portion of round 1.
Yeah, and a great player. And like you said, he fits that identity of the city of Pittsburgh and that team very, very well. The next pick is, I think, another kind of culture fit in 𝗙𝗡𝗏𝗡𝗦, the Penn State tight end.
I was not as high as many people on Freiermuth, although I believe I had him as like my 56th or 57th player on my board, and he went number 55. It's a good fit for the system. I mean, he's a good pass catcher. He's a long guy. He's got to improve his blocking, but they really didn't ask him to block all that much at Penn State, so it's really not his fault. He was the number one pass catcher. He was number one pass catching threat for an offense that really at times struggled throwing the ball. That's what he does. That's what the Steelers do with their tight ends. I thought it was a real good fit. I don't think he's a polished player. I don't think he's a sure thing. He's got a good amount of upside. It's just a matter of him continuing to develop and improve his blocking.
Yeah, and I think he kind of had a bit unfair. The nickname Baby Gronk was probably one that, kind of made unrealistic expectations for Freiermuth. They went with Kendrick Green after that, the center from Illinois. How'd you feel about that one?
Center or guard. I thought this was another terrific pick. I mean, this is a guy who a lot of people like. He's very athletic. He's strong. He's a punch in the mouth type of lineman, which is what the Steelers like, but he can also get out on the second level and block in motion. And like I said, he's got that ability to play center or guard. I think they're going to try him out at center because the need is there. I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick Green is the Steelers starting center come the first week of the 2021 NFL season.
Yeah, and I mean, they had needs at running back, tight end, and center, and then they go with another need, offensive tackle, and Dan Moore Jr. from Texas A&M.
More of a developmental guy. I think he's going to need some time. He's got excellent length. He's relatively athletic. Does have some lapses in his game on occasion. Does have some struggles at left tackle. I think it's a matter of just developing him, and they've been able to develop offensive linemen well at Pittsburgh, so there's no reason why to think they won't be able to develop more.
Yeah, and they stayed in College Station. They went with the linebacker who might have had the best overall aesthetic in college football in Buddy Johnson.
Another smaller run and chase guy, very good against the run, instinctive, tough, really sells out against the ball handler. A little bit comes up a little bit shy in coverage, not as good making plays in reverse as he is up the field or in pursuit. But again, a Steelers type of run defending linebacker. And
then they went with Isaiah Loudermilk, which is a phenomenal name from someone who went to the University of Wisconsin.
And I know a lot of people were surprised by this selection, but I got to tell you, I interviewed Loudermilk for about 45 minutes a couple weeks before the draft, and I came away incredibly impressed with him. So I could understand why the Steelers would feel the same way. I mean, he's a motivated guy. He knows where he's at. He knows what he has to work on. He's made football a priority. I think he's going to be a very good two-gap defensive end. He's got to get a little bit stronger. He's got to be more consistent playing with knee bend. But I loved his attitude. I love the way he prioritized things. I had him as a 7th rounder. A lot of people were surprised he went in the 5th round. I think if people sat down and talked with Loudermilk for a little while, they would understand why the Steelers selected him when they did.
And then a pick that didn't really surprise me much because it seemed like he kind of fits in that, stand-up outside linebacker role was Quincy Rochet from Miami.
One of the steals of the draft, as far as I'm concerned. We talk about Najee Harris fitting the identity and being a good fit. We can say those same exact things about Quincy Roche. I mean, here's a guy who, productive last year at Miami after transferring from Temple. He was a good player at Temple. Again, the questions about Roach were not his playing ability, because we all knew he was a smart, tough player. It was about his athleticism. Then he goes during his pro day and he runs into 4.6s. So it's a matter of, yeah, this guy's got speed. You just got to teach him to use that speed. Not a bad player making in reverse on zone blitzes. He showed that the first game of the season. I think it's a situation where he's going to be a real good situational pass rusher, and in time can develop into a productive starter in the NFL. Really like this pick a lot. I think the Steelers did a great job with it.
And then they paired that, stayed on the defensive side of the ball with cornerback safety hybrid player Trey Norwood from Oklahoma.
Nice size guy, doesn't have great speed, but when the ball's in the air, he knows what's happening, shows solid ball skills. You know, like you said, is he a corner? Is he a safety? I think he's someone that you're really going to use in a zone type system.
And then they finish off the draft portion of this with Presley Harvin III, the Georgia Tech punter.
Big time leg with Harvin, but a guy who's got to learn to directional kick and be more consistent placing his punts.
Who really stood out from their free agency class, Tony?
You know, I absolutely love the signing of Shakur Brown. He was a guy who I had graded as early as the 4th round. He was someone who showed tremendous ball skills at Michigan State. He had an outstanding campaign in 2020. I think he had 5 interceptions. Someone who possesses great ball skills. He possesses a great head for the ball. His interviews weren't too good, and he's under 5'10", and he ran the 4.6s during pro day, which is why he fell out of the draft. But I absolutely believe he's going to compete to be a dime back for the active roster. I thought that was an outstanding signing by the Steelers.
That was the Steelers draft reaction from our draft insider, Tony Pauline.